CIA Director William Burns is reportedly heading to Qatar today, where he's expected to hold talks with the country's prime minister on the latest efforts to secure a ceasefire and hostage release deal in Gaza. This comes as a Palestinian source involved in the indirect negotiations tells our partners at BBC News that the talks have reached a, quote, decisive and final phase. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said his forces will remain on Mount Hermon inside Syria until a new arrangement that guarantees Israel's security is in place. CBS News foreign correspondent Chris Livesay brings us more from Tel Aviv.
Well, there are encouraging signs that a deal might soon be reached in the release of hostages in exchange for a ceasefire in Gaza. Today, CIA Director William Burns is expected to be in Doha for high-level talks aimed at freeing the roughly 100 hostages still in Hamas captivity, some of whom are American, and ending a war that's leveled Gaza and left tens of thousands dead. President-elect Donald Trump has repeatedly threatened that there would be, quote, hell to pay, unquote, if the hostages weren't released by the time of his inauguration in January. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made a high-profile visit to the Golan Heights yesterday. That's a strategic area bordering Syria. The UN has long condemned Israel's presence there as an illegal occupation ever since the Arab-Israeli War of 1967. Now, since the collapse of the Assad regime earlier this month, Israeli forces have crept even deeper inside Syria, taking over the highest peak in the area, Mount Hermon. From this mountaintop, Netanyahu said, quote, our presence here on the summit of the Golan Heights guarantees our security and sovereignty. So why is Israel here? The defense minister said it's to deter rebels in Damascus, the same ones who just toppled Assad, who, quote, claim to portray a moderate facade, but are among some of the most extreme branches of Islamists. He also said Israel needs to fortify its locations inside Syria, signaling this is not a short-term operation. Back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you for that.